What's up, everyone? It's Investe here. Today, Bitcoin is near $70,000 now. And whenever Bitcoin drops, you'll hear people say either relax or the price does not make sense because the fundamentals are still strong. But have you ever wondered, what the heck are Bitcoin fundamentals? Because I have, and I question that every single damn time when I hear it. Because if you come from stock investing, fundamentals usually mean either revenue, profit, cash flow, or execution, right? And as you guys already know, Bitcoin has none of that. I also hear this all the time. Go back to the basics or read the white paper again. Okay, so I did. I read the Bitcoin white paper, and today I'm going to share two quick things, a quick summary of white paper and my quick interpretation of what Bitcoin fundamentals are in my view. So let's get into it. To understand Bitcoin fundamentals, just like everyone suggested, I had to go back to the original document, which is called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system, aka Bitcoin white paper. This was written in 2008 by Satoshi Nakamoto. I believe some people actually call him God, so who the heck knows who this person is. But surprisingly, the white paper itself was only 9 pages long. And I wanted to be clear, the white paper does not say Bitcoin is inflation hedge, Bitcoin will replace the dollar, Bitcoin will hit $1 million, or Bitcoin is digital gold. Instead, it focuses on solving one very specific technical problem, which is how can two people send digital money to each other without needing to trust a third party? That's it. So the core problem is trust. In traditional finance, you will always need a middleman. If you send money, the bank verifies it, the bank updates balances, and the bank prevents fraud. But on the other hand, if you think about it, that also means the bank can block transactions, the bank can reverse transactions, and pretty much the bank controls the entire finance system. So Satoshi's idea was radical for 2008. He pretty much thought, what if we remove the need for trust entirely? What if, instead of trusting a bank, we trust cryptography, mathematics, distributed consensus? That's the breakthrough. Before Bitcoin, digital money had a major issue. So if you think about it, if I send you a digital file, like a photo, I can still keep a copy. So what stops me from sending the same digital coin twice? This is called the double spending problem. Every previous digital currency failed because they couldn't solve this without a central authority. However, Satoshi suggests that Bitcoin can solve this using a public transaction history, a timestamp chain of blocks, and proof of work. Once a transaction is confirmed in the blockchain, rewriting or reusing would require redoing massive amounts of computational work. That makes cheating economically pretty much infeasible. One of the other key innovations in the white paper is the idea of a timestamp server. Every block contains a list of transactions. Every block is hashed. It also means cryptographically sealed, and it links to the previous block. This creates a chain, and that is why it's called blockchain. If you change one transaction in the past, you'd have to redo every block after it. The deeper the block is buried in this chain, the more secure it becomes. Satoshi didn't invent the proof of work. However, he applied it geniusly. Proof of work requires miners to solve computational puzzles, spend electricity, and invest in hardware. Why does that matter? Because it makes attacking the network very expensive. Security is not based on identity, it's based on the economic cost. The more computing power securing the network, the harder it is to manipulate. That is why hash rate is often considered a Bitcoin fundamental today. The white paper also explains the incentive model. Miners are rewarded with newly created Bitcoin, and transaction fees. So the system is self-sustaining. No company pays the miners, no government funds it. The network funds it itself. That is extremely important because based on this, Bitcoin isn't maintained by a corporation or government. It survives because participants are financially paid to maintain it. Okay, now let's connect everything. Bitcoin fundamentals are not financial metric, they're system integrity metrics. So when someone says Bitcoin fundamentals are strong, I believe they usually mean number one, the network is secure, hash rate is high, mining participation is strong, it is extremely difficult to attack. Number two, the supply rules are intact, the issuance schedule is predictable. And number three, the incentive system is functioning, which means miners are still incentivized to secure the network. So in simple terms, the system described in the white paper is still operating as designed. I believe that's the Bitcoin fundamentals. So now when someone says Bitcoin fundamentals are strong, at least now we or I understand what the argument is actually based on. It is not about the revenue, it is not about the earnings, it is not about year-over-year growth. It's about whether the system described in the white paper is still functioning the way it was designed to be functioned. And the change is how you evaluate the conversation, right? Instead of arguing emotionally about price, you can ask better questions, I believe, such as, is the network secure or incentive aligned? Have the core rules changed? If those things are intact, then from a protocol perspective, I believe Bitcoin is operating as designed. Now, whether that justifies the price, that's the separate discussion in my opinion. But at least you're debating from the basics. Hopefully my viewpoint of Bitcoin fundamentals has helped you to have your own standard Bitcoin, and pretty much that's the whole point. Not to blindly agree, not to blindly disagree, but to understand it clearly enough to decide for yourself. Okay, that is all I have. That is all I wanted to share for today. If you agree with my interpretation on Bitcoin fundamentals, just leave me a comment and let me know. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.